were working on, and then just a minute, before even that I need to make sure that everything's up and running. Alrighty, yeah, everything seems to be fine, so let's just simply continue from here on. Hopefully I'm audible, and we can just simply continue from here on. So what we were doing, that we were working on this, and especially the backend isn't quite ready yet. We've just simply written some basic code, so ultimately base is ready, but the overall logic is yet to be implemented. Having said that, apart from this particular thing, we actually need to fix a lot of things here. So let me just simply correct all these types, and then I'll continue. It seems to be taking some time. Interesting, this is something that I hardly need, so let's close this. As for this one, close this as well. Later we'll see. Having two side by side, even Google Meet clone project, yeah, this might be needed, so let's just simply have it and reload the window. There's actually a lot of work to be done on this website, but the very first thing that I need to do, that is integrating the backend right now, mainly the database, because until unless that's been integrated, we'll keep generating the IDs from on or on, and that could automatically be generated from the database side, and hence we are going to be doing this, and so that whatever changes we are making, they are compatible with the backend as well. Alrighty, as for these ones over here, everything seems to be alright. Let's continue with the shared. We have to pass the types here as well. Ultimately import them here. Shortcuts, text, and when it comes to the type, I need the point, and there should be shape somewhere as well. Alrighty, this seems to be done. When it comes to the tools, so we have tool actions, viewport, we have these, we have pointer. The shape needs to be imported, as expected. We need to import both here. I just simply moved the things here and there, and because of that thing we are having the things like these, so we'd better just simply import them and remove the previous ones. Alrighty, apart from this particular thing, I should not be having any problem as such. So yeah, that is it. This was the only thing that we actually needed to do, and once this thing is actually done, then what we are actually doing right now, let me see if there are errors when we run this. So first of all, we have to check this thing out. So if I actually go to this page, so when we start drawing something, we are sort of able to do everything that we were able to do earlier. We are able to draw the stuff, so that is good. If I add the text, okay, sort of working as well, so no problem with this as such. The features, editor, interactions, and the images that we are trying to upload. Images are even uploaded. The next thing that I need to change is the draw, and when it comes to not draw, just the drawing section, and when it comes to drawing, I'm gonna draw image, and when it comes to drawing the image, I'll get rid of this type, and now I'll have the image type again, and this time we are not gonna get the image URL, rather we'll be getting the public the shape that we actually get that has well, that's crazy, because that doesn't have now it's problematic. If I go to the render shapes, so even before even that, wherever I'm calling render shapes, I need to pass the images as well. So not just the shapes, rather I need to pass the images, image assist. So ultimately I need to pass the images, that's gonna be the image asset, and then on the basis of that thing we have to calculate over here. Alrighty, and then how we are gonna be getting this shape contains actually the ID, so image is gonna be images colon shape dot id dot public URL. String was type string was found on type image asset. So element in50 has any type, because the expression of type string cannot be indexed as image asset. That's fine. So but overall this is how the things are gonna be going on. We have the image shape that actually has the image ID, that's a string. When it comes to image asset, that's not what I want. So images are gonna be image map, just this, and then once I get this image the shape ID, it is possibly undefined. If I don't have the images, what's the use of even drawing this? So images colon shape dot id. If I, what is the problem here? Object is possibly undefined, so that's what I'm doing here, that if I don't have images of shape ID, or if that's triple equals to undefined, we are gonna be returning from here. So what's the use of calling it here? I think I need to have it first of all. So const image is gonna be images colon shape dot id, and once I have the image, after that I'm gonna make sure that I have the image. If I don't have the image, I'm gonna return from here. But if I actually have the image, so I'm gonna use image dot public URL, and this is we'll first of all check whether this actually exists in the caching state. So this is the caching state that we actually have, so that's fine as well. Having it here does a better job, so that's fine. And if that doesn't exist, then we are gonna be creating a new image element, and at the end of the day we are gonna be just simply saving it there. So this is it, image.public URL. So public URL is actually gonna be saved in there. That's gonna be key, and that's gonna be public URL as well. And then it should be sort of done. We are just simply drawing it here. But before even that, now I need to send images everywhere. Hence wherever I'm rendering it, so renderer, use canvas renderer. So if I'm not wrong, so wherever I'm calling this render shape right now, this is it. So wherever, what is the problem? Draw image actually needs these images, and I don't have the images over here. So apart from shapes, I'm actually gonna be passing the images. Once the images are passed, the type for those images, that's actually gonna be image map, sort of like this. So ultimately there are no errors here, but we will definitely have the errors here. So we are gonna make sure that whenever even we have the group, that's just simply mapping the value in job, that's fine. What is the issue now? The interesting thing starts from here. We have to pass the images, so we are gonna be importing the images here. Once we actually have the images, so we are gonna actually pass it right here, and same thing is gonna be repeated for this one. So once we actually have the images just like this, so that's just simply gonna be passed when rendering that. And when rendering the shapes, we are gonna be rendering one thing or the other, and this is how it's gonna be done. So now if we try checking this thing out, if I just simply reload the page and alrighty, one more thing, what is that? HTTP Excalidraw uploads S3 from origin. This has been blocked by COTS policy. Okay, so we try getting this. I'm not even sure whether this has been saved or not. We are not really putting it, or are we? So let me see. Yeah, so no images are being saved right now. That simply means the URL that I actually get. So when it comes to images, interactions, images, and use image upload. So first of all, use add image. This way the image is actually added to the store, and if the image duplicated, it will have the same key, and yeah, that's fine as well. And when we are getting the image load image assets, over here we get the data. Once we get the data, we try just simply calling this put here upload with the upload URL, and then we return it at the end. So this should ideally be okay, but at the end of the day, what is happening here, that is the upload URL. Let me try logging the value of it as well, or let me try logging the CLG uploads, and that's gonna be uploads like this. And if I try, okay, so when it comes to upload, we definitely get the public URL, and the public URL is not quite right, so we get the upload URL. Slash upload slash this particular image. Then we have HTTP Excalidraw in the same image name. So ultimately we are getting what we need. One more thing that we need to do, that is inside backend an environment variable. This needs to be HTTP colon, it should actually be HTTPS colon Excalidraw and all, and this is mainly for getting that. So whenever we are getting that, we need to make sure that we are using the right URL, but before even that, it needs to be saved. So when we actually have uploads, So upload URL is gonna be here. So CLG upload URL. That simply means if I'm gonna get two images from here, I'm gonna get two URLs. Excalidraw uploads S3. So this is how. Then the second thing is that accent to XML. This from origin, this has been blocked by cost policy response to this, so we have to enable it as well. So permissions, then the bucket policy, let's edit this, and can see cross origin resource sharing. The course of configuration return JSON defines a way for client web applications that are loaded in one domain to interact with the resources. Let's try editing this, and then we have to just simply allow. Okay, it turns out we don't really have anything, so let's search it here. That is gonna be S3 bucket course policy. So we need a policy for that. Hopefully I'm gonna find it here. So this is how it's gonna be going on. Action S3 get object exactly what you want, and then exactly which website should be allowed. So this is how it should be going. It should be like alrighty, let's go few more ones. So allowed headers, allowed methods, allowed origins, headers, it sort of goes on like this, and configure this. So when it comes to configuring this, so S3 bucket policy, S3 public access, S3 static website, HTML pages. So this is how it's gonna be going on. This effect exactly what I want, especially we want to put, so it should be put object. So yeah, this is how it should be like, and it just simply keeps going on. Even I have one policy here, and that's gonna be in my Notion. So this is allowed headers, everything, allowed methods, these allowed origins, HTTP localhost 3000, expose headers, and max is 3000 seconds. So this is also something that's here, but let me do one thing. If I just duplicate this, what kind of policy am I using earlier? So it doesn't matter which thing I go through, I need to make sure that that's properly documented on my side. Am I facing the network issue? Not really. It seems to be taking a lot of time. That's insane. So let's do one thing. Let's get the few things from the Google itself. So from here I'm just simply gonna copy this one of the policies that can be used. Even this one, max age, expose headers, allow headers, this allowed origins are gonna be almost everything. So this is how it's gonna be going on. And what I wanna do here, I'm just unable to load the stuff quite This is the overall policy that usually we add. It can even have more things. It can have ultimately all types of methods that are actually allowed. Allowed headers, allowed methods, headers, and it can have many more things. Click here for more information. Alrighty, by the way, what we wanna put, and we want to put, right? That is it. And especially in this case, if I go to, I already have one more bucket. I'd like to check the configuration. Otherwise, I'll go with the default one. That's just simply for putting. So let me see what kind of policy we have here. So allow methods are get, put, post, all these things. Allowed origins is this, and expose matrix, allow headers this. So ultimately this is how it goes, but we don't need this. Rather, we can be okay with the normal one. So if I go to any website and the normal policy that they give here, that's gonna be enough for us to just simply use. Not this one, because this does not look like that. So probably I better go with that Stack Overflow section. This is it. So let's just simply copy it from here. So I'm gonna just simply copy it, and once copied, I'm gonna just simply put it here. And allowed headers are gonna be, or allowed methods are gonna be get, or it could even be put. Why do we want to get? Because get is gonna be allowed, that is right. We will even be putting it. So get, put, post, delete, head, all these. As for right now, either putting, not actually posting. We might not be editing them, right? So as of right now, either I'm gonna be getting from here, or I'm gonna be just simply posting from here. So head, I'm not quite sure, so let's just simply add one more, and that's gonna be post here. Allowed origins, as for right now, I'm just simply allowing all, expose headers and maxes. Let's just simply save the changes. So what should happen now? I should be able to just simply post the data here, as simple as that. So at least that's what is expected. Let's reload the page. It turns out that we are still getting that same error. So put, well, we are actually trying to put over here, so I forgot to add that method as well. So instead of just posting, we are actually trying to put. So if I actually go here, this should actually be put, because we are trying to put here. So let's just simply save it. And now if I try making a request from here, still getting that same error. We've done this. Allowed headers, object ownership. And as for this policy, say, allow cloud front bucket policy that automatically got added. Ideally should be working, if I'm not missing anything. We are still getting this error. So at this from origin, this has been blocked by course policy response to free flight request doesn't pass access control, no access control, allow origin header is present on the request resource. We'll specifically have to say that it's allowed. So let's just simply use this one over here as of right now. So just gonna be changing the permission. I hopefully that's where the problem is. So I'm just simply gonna allow all the methods in the port 3000, and I think I need to specially mention the what the origin here. And as expected, yeah, that was sort of right. So once this is done, well, what not right? I thought it worked. There are no objects here yet, because there is no upload folder. Ideally, what is happening here, even before the upload folder, uploads needs to be there, but upload folder, and I'm not sure if it actually gonna work, but let's give it a try. It's still getting the same kind of error, so let's just simply give it to the AI. Hopefully it will be able to give me some ideas regarding this. It sends the request to Excalidraw, uploads S3, HTTPS and all. Well, this seems to be stuck. Expose headers if you are using multiple origins. Okay, so almost we are doing the things the right way if I'm not wrong. So coming back to this, when it comes to permissions, so this is what it is like. HTTP localhost from 3000 to the request is being sent. Even this configuration, the same one I used earlier, so ideally there shouldn't be any problem. Unless I'm actually missing something. So this is right. We don't really have any region over there. I'll have to just simply mention it in the region properly. I think that's the problem in the environment variables. No, region is there, access key is there, AWS bucket is there, Excalidraw uploads, well, not really. Excalidraw, what is the AWS bucket? Assets bucket, probably this is the region. And then CloudFront URL is gonna be like this, and that should be fine. So yeah, this time should ideally be working once the things have actually been changed. Let's just simply run it again. Same with this, and if I actually go to this one and reload, Hopefully this time it's gonna work. Okay, let's try this thing out. Will we get the error here or not? We got the error. Error name not resolved. So this is a different error. Assets code uploads and this error failed to load image. Add on error image loader this. New error failed to load the image. That simply means if we are loading the image, that means we only load the image over here, hence we got this. And once we actually got that, so public URL that's automatically has been constructed. The problem is that may not exist. So let me see first thing this, that is checking out the objects in here inside uploads. First problem is solved. We have the logo PNG that I just uploaded. Open it. Have I uploaded all in one go? I'm just being confused. I have to take care of this one, not another one. Let's get rid of this, that would be better. Let me see. So I do have an image over here. The name is quite a long one, but we do have it. So if I just simply open it here, so we are able to see it like this. So we have the image. The only thing is that we are just enabled, so this cloud front is not working. So in that case, let me see if it is not working. So this is the cloud front URL slash the image name, and that image name is this one. So if I copy it and slash this, so we don't really see anything here, right? So this is something that needs to be fixed. When it comes to cloud front, this one, origins, security, why is cloud front not able to serve that? Excalidraw assets dot coding the codes, Excalidraw assets dot coding the code dot site slash the image name. So Excalidraw assets dot coding the code dot site add, this is already added, HTTP2. So nothing needs to be changed over here, so this should ideally be working. What is the missing piece here? To route traffic from specified domains to this distribution, you will need to manually update your DNS record. This is something that needs to be done as well. I missed this. Anyway, let's do it. So I need to go to hosting, and once we have here, so we have to just simply add them. And when it comes to, just a minute, let's close this, and overall things are fine. So it just takes a lot of time for some reason. Anyway, let's just simply I think I should be signing in. It just doesn't show the things the right way. That's actually, so let's click on this, and I'll continue with Google. What was the IP? What was the email? Gmail, whatever. Probably this one. That's such an insane thing. I'm not sure what I'm using in the background. Anyway, let's just simply focus on fixing this. Coding the course site. And once that is done, it has changed a little bit, but okay, it should be a. Excalidraw assets dot, that should be the name actually. That's fine as well. So the name is gonna be this, and value is actually gonna be this. Let's add the record. So this is gonna be CNAME is the value, fine, and the value of A is gonna be here, and let's just simply add this, and then we are gonna have this. Probably this is gonna be better. Yeah, as expected. Well, not really. So I'll actually have to use the CNAME. Alrighty, so this is something we've already done. So now ideally what should happen, that I should be getting the result here. It's loading, that simply means yes, we are gonna get that hopefully. It usually takes a lot of time, so if there is network issue, then it's gonna be crazy, because it will take a lot of time. I'm not sure whether it's even gonna give us any result. So I think this is still gonna take some time to just simply route the traffic. Usually it does take time. It is gonna take. But okay, let's wait for a while. Let it be just simply running in the background. and okay. Well, we are still not able to see any result. That simply means we are not gonna get that. In that case, if I come to this one, upload, I'm actually gonna have probably this logo.png. That's uploaded. Close this. So now I have logo.png. So if I try getting the logo.png from here, as expected, it doesn't seem to be working, especially right now. We can directly get it like this, but it is quite a big one, so we don't want that. We are trying to get it using CloudFront, but it doesn't seem to be working. A and triple A. Oh, finally we are getting some response, and that's gonna be the access denied, do not appear have any information or whatever. At least there is some info. So file does not appear to have any style information associated with the documentary shown below. So it is simply access denied logo.png. So even if I go with the previous one here, we have two files. This is the second one. If I just simply paste it here, we are getting the same. Great, at least we are getting the response back. And when it comes to access denied, security, finally it is working. The thing is that the path was wrong actually, so that's fine. And coming back to this one, Now what should ideally happen, that we should be getting some kind of response in here. But again, this is not what I wanted, because what will actually happen, that as we upload the image, type undefined is not function array, image assets for it as image, so image assets, it might be undefined. Why it might be undefined image assets? So when it comes to this, when we are getting this, so we should be definitely getting some value or the other from here. Hence use image upload slog image assets, the image assets that I actually get, that's an array. We can run for each. Let's wait for a while. We do have this. So we have a public URL here. Let me try. We are getting that. Once we are getting that key uploads, that's actually a URL. Undefined is not a function. Image assets dot for each, and add image. Let's try checking the type of that. Usually it is an array. And we are even awaiting it, so this is never gonna be called, but type of it's an actually object, that is fine. In promise, so what can we do here? Let me see whether this alone runs or not. Hi there, runs. Add image is not a function. Something is missing here. Just a sec. If I go to here, add image, use add image. A function editor set add image. Add image, it gets the image, it sets the images here. Now coming back to this, state.add image is here, so use add image. Now when it comes to this, so store.use add image. Once we have this, we are just simply it is a function image assets and returns nothing. Uncaught in promise add image is not a function. This is what the problematic thing is. Add image is not really a function. Why, bro? Why are we facing this issue? Why do we get this error? This part here, come on. I just forgot this. I created the slice but never added the slice. Now it should be fine. So still we are not getting any image over here. The question is that whenever we are just simply rendering the image, over here I'm definitely getting the image, right? Image, let's see, try this thing out one more time. Backend needs to be added. How long will we just simply keep working? Well, that's not getting called. It turns out that it's just not rendering at all. That simply means we are not invalidating after adding it. After adding it, we are not invalidating this. Let me see. We are definitely invalidating this. So this is actually being invalidated, so they are gonna run. Once they actually run, then image is actually gonna be the part of the renderer. So invalidates both, but at the end let's just simply check this thing. Rendering the shape, rendering should be sort of enough. Rendering is getting called, that simply means I have the shapes as well. The only problematic thing is that it actually takes time. So sometimes it takes quite a lot of time to just simply get the result. And we have the image ID, then I should have the image as well. So rendering twice, we have the images, these kinds of things we have here. That simply means we definitely have the public URL. When we actually have the public URL, that simply means images shape.id, it should be shape.imageID. Am I crazy? Now let's check this thing out. Here it is. We actually have many. Now it appears we are able to resize it and all, so that's good. We are able to do all these things, but and as for the images, so we have one image right now, and that is this one. If I just duplicate this, that doesn't mean we'll have two images, we'll still have only one image. If I get another one, then we'll actually have to wait for a while. That's insane. And then after some time it's just simply gonna appear here. So let's just wait. Yeah, now it appears. So this much delay is insane, and hence this is something that we have to fix. And now we have to, so this is overall working, but now we have to fix this as well. And the most important thing is that we have to integrate the backend. Okay, first of all let's fix this image related stuff, and then focus on the backend therefore. So now the problem is that, let me see, overall what is happening here, that as soon as we, let me go to the image section over here. So when we get the files and we try to get the image assets, so at this point of time I can even call add image directly here. Now it will be working. So at this point of time, whenever I'm just simply getting them, so I'm making a request, and when I make a request, I get the data. So ultimately I get the uploads, and that upload actually contains the upload URL. So using that I'm just simply sort of uploading all the images to S3, and once they are uploaded, then we just get the public URL. That actually once we have the public URL, then load image, we are loading the image over here. So when it comes to loading the image, that's mainly needed so that we can get the width and height, and when it comes to loading the image, what we are actually doing, that is if for some reason we are duplicating that, so the name is gonna be the same, and once the name is actually gonna be the same, so in that case what will happen, anyway, coming back to this, we load the image, and as we load the image, so what is actually happening over here, that whenever it resolves we get the image from here, otherwise we get nothing. And apart from this particular thing, it actually returns us the image. On the basis of that thing, we are calculating the natural width and height of the image. Okay, so that's why it's just simply used for. Now the question is that whenever we are duplicating that, so same image is actually duplicated, that simply means the image ID is the same, just the shape ID changes, and hence we don't really need to worry about that at all. Fine. Now the problematic thing, as soon as I get the files over here, I get many files of course, somehow I have to return the blob URL directly. So this is working, so it's not like this is not working, but the thing is that we don't get the quick response, so using the blob URL is only option. And now the thing is that how to render quick result like image, and when we broadcast, what should we broadcast, main URL or the blog or base 64 URL? For an Excalidraw like app, the production approach is not to wait for the upload to finish before rendering. The flow is usually user selects the image, create a local blob URL immediately, render the image from the blob URL, upload in the background, replace the blob URL with the permanent S3 CloudFront URL once updated computes. Broadcast only permanent asset information to others. So render immediately using blob URL instead of waiting for this. So do this first. So what will actually happen, that local URL we are gonna be creating this, and once we have the local URL, so local URL is actually gonna be passed there, and once the local URL is actually passed there, so now you already know the image natural width and all, can instantly add an image element to the canvas. So local these assets are actually gonna be this, and add asset, render instantly, add image asset. The user sees the image immediately without waiting for S3, upload in background, so it's gonna be uploaded when finished the asset.public URL, and update your asset store key, revoke blob once nobody uses it anymore, so just simply revoke it. Usually after replacing, what should be stored ID key, render URL, public URL, so this is gonna be the render URL, and this is gonna be the public URL. Status can be uploading or uploaded. Interesting. If the status is uploading, use the render URL, otherwise uploaded, then we'll have both. Not a bad idea after all. So whenever we are getting the images, we are definitely gonna have the status as well, so on the basis of the status we can get the things done. We are awaiting all of them, and then at the end an array is just simply returned from here. I'm just simply gonna get it modified. Let's see if the modifies version is what we want or not. Load image assets, it gets the asset, it gets the upload. Let's see how it just simply goes on. So first of all, what we are doing, let me just simply copy it all and paste it here and have a proper look at this. We actually have many errors here. Interesting. Image loader. So first of all, we have this. It works just as earlier. Coming back to this one, we are gonna pass the files over here, and at the end we are gonna return the assets and the upload. That's gonna be a promise from here. So we have the file array. Once we actually have the file array, so create the local assets immediately. That is fine. So assets are gonna be promise all file array. I'm just simply gonna get the file. Once I have the file, blob URL, creating the image. Once the image is actually created, UUID, render URL is gonna be blob URL. So we need to add this. Natural width is gonna be this, height is gonna be this, status is gonna be uploading and as const, and this way we will have our local status. This is gonna be uploading by default. Okay, that's fine. It can be uploading or uploaded, we'll see. Then uploading background, so it's just simply gonna be uploaded in the background and it's gonna be returned. So this is a function. So this will be uploaded in the background and we are passing assets from here. That is okay. So this is the way that we are using. So upload we have, that's nothing but a promise, and this is a function that gets called just as soon as it just simply gets called then and there, and we make a request to the DB backend. Once the request is made, asset.key is gonna be key, asset.public URL is gonna be this, render URL, status is gonna be uploaded, URL revoke URL, and then this, and lastly we are returning this. So the asset that we actually have, that has the type of image asset, and as for the image asset, there needs to be public URL, that is fine. There needs to be render URL as well. Render URL, that's gonna be nothing but string. But this is not it. ID is gonna be this, render URL is gonna be this. Public URL, that can be optional, right? Render URL will So ultimately, let's make the key optional, public URL optional, and status optional. Status should not be optional. Uploaded, so I can be back to this again. It can have the status as well, and that can be uploading or that can even be uploaded. That is the first thing. Second thing is that the key that we actually have, this is not even being used anywhere. And by default, especially when it comes to this at this level here, so we will not really have the key, that is for sure. So key is gonna be optional. Similarly, by default we will not have the public URL, so initially public URL is gonna be optional as well. Render URL is gonna be there. And as for this asset that we actually have here, this is gonna be image asset, an array of that. And once it comes to this, so when we await, so we try getting the same asset. Once we get the same asset, we update the values. Let's see whether it works or not. If it works, then okay, great. If it doesn't, we'll have to work more on it. And image assets will actually return us two things. It will return the asset and upload. When it comes to upload, if I'm not wrong, upload is still a promise or something. So from here, the upload that's being just returned, that is still a promise and getting these things done. So ultimately I'm returning a promise. Then we can call promise.then or something. So over here, let me see how it is telling us to just simply handle this. So assets.forEach, then upload broadcast uploaded image here. So whenever the image is actually uploaded, then we have to just simply broadcast. Interesting. Assets are gonna be here, and upload dot, then if I'm not wrong, that's the way to just simply handle this. Uploaded as for right now. And the second thing is that assets, they are just simply gonna be used like this, and that is it. That thing is just not enough. Image, now depending on the status, we actually have to use that. So if the image dot status, if there is if that's triple equals to uploaded, in that great, use image dot public URL, otherwise the render image dot render URL. The string or undefined is not assigned, but image URL, and that's actually gonna be this, and hence simply gonna call it here. So image.url, whatever the URL is, and we are actually caching it here. So image cache, so that's actually being cached at this point of time. So whenever we are trying to draw it, at the time we will directly cache it, so that the next time onwards, once we get the image URL, so whenever we are drawing it, before even drawing it, we are caching it. So what will happen, whenever we are drawing it the next time, I'll get the image URL, we'll check if the image already exists. If that does, we will not create another image, rather we'll just directly be rendering this, and that's fine. Otherwise we'll just simply be keeping in this particular cache, and we are gonna return. Would like to check this thing. Yeah, just a sec. Now the thing is that whenever this is done, I have to invalidate it as well. That simply means, so whenever this is uploaded, just call invalidate then and there. So now what will happen, that uploaded and we invalidated, now everything's gone. This doesn't need to be done that way, so the previous image is still gonna be there. What can be the best way to just simply handle this? And I haven't even checked how this multi selection works. Now fine, so ultimately when they are uploaded, then I'm getting crazy. We get them, but when they are uploaded, so that's problematic. Even when we are creating the blog URL, still we are facing this issue. Load dot then. This will only be called when it is done. It's not as the way I actually wanted it to be. So even when we are doing this and we are just simply saving it, so whenever the value of whenever the uploaded gets, it just simply it is done. So at that time what we are doing, at the time we are updating it, updating this asset, and the same asset is actually returned. As expected, so whenever we click down, it just simply re-renders again. It doesn't happen the same way here. I'll have to figure out a better way to just simply get the same thing implemented, because as of right now what is happening, it just takes some time even if we get the result. I think this is gonna take time. How do we upload the images here? Oh, we did time taking. First of all, this is just on top of each other. The second thing is that it is time taking, but it is quite quick. Time taking, but not that much either. How does it handle this? Sure. it's good that it is just simply showing us this uploaded. It is actually quicker than actually what is happening over here, that it is actually dependent on just the blob URLs, and whenever the page is actually rendered at the time, then it just simply uses the public URLs. Let me see. How about just depending on blob URLs on local and broadcast public URL. That's actually the approach I'd recommend. The local client should always use blob URLs exclusively until the upload finishes, and the other clients should only receive the public URL. So in that case, your render doesn't care whether its source is blob or URL, or this is simply does that. So but the thing is that how can we implement this? Just rendering base 64 URL, blob URL locally. So locally I had this, don't draw until the image has finished loading, otherwise draw may throw or render nothing first time. Let's see what is happening over here. So we are just simply drawing here and get cached image. We are getting the cached image like this. Before even that, we have asset, we got this image URL, if uploaded then this, otherwise this, and get cached image if that exists. If that does not exist, return image dot complete natural width is 0, return, otherwise do this. Still this is not gonna work, that is for sure. Even better, instead of branching on status, make a render URL always represent the current source initially, render URL, and after upload render URL is gonna be public URL, this is gonna be public URL, and this is how it should be going on. Then draw becomes simpler, that is right as well. The renderer no longer needs to know whether an image uploading or uploaded, it just draws. So ultimately it's gonna just simply get the render URL, and when we are actually render URL, let's do one thing. This is fine, render URL is gonna be there, it will always be dependent on that. Hopefully I'm not clearing it. And apart from this particular thing, whenever it actually gets uploaded, then upload actually gonna contain a promise that will have response, the bigger problem is that once we get the response, we have to update the values. That is also something that we have to keep in mind. And the thing is that when it is actually uploaded, then we have to broadcast it as well. So when we are actually broadcasting it, it's gonna be complex, more complex in further coming days, because we haven't really implemented WebSocket yet. Once that gets implemented, insane. Anyway, when we actually broadcast, so at that time we are gonna be broadcasting what? We are gonna be broadcasting the images with their public URL, so that is also fine. So once something is actually broadcasted, and once I get something, I will always be getting the public URL. I'm gonna be just simply setting it the render URL as well. Rather we can make it like this, that call it the render URL, call it the public URL. So if I actually go to this one, instead of having to, I'm actually gonna have this public URL right here. In my case, what I'll actually do, I'll change the value of it, but then it will behave the same way. And if I'm actually sending it to the other side, having render URL is important, because if I am changing it once the image is actually uploaded, then what will actually happen, that I will get some kind of flickering effect. That is right. So we are already even updating this asset right here. Asset public URL, render is also gonna be public URL. Think about it. Render should be public URL, this should be public URL. In that case, the value of the asset actually changes. And as of right now, I'm not sure whether I'm gonna get the right result. Yeah, as expected. So as soon as I move, the value actually changes. So render URL actually starts using the public URL, that is right. So let's just not assign the value in here. Just I'm gonna assign the public URL over here. And now the thing is that suppose I'm broadcast locally, this is fine, and especially when I reload it. Suppose I reload the page and these things are actually saved in the DB. So even we have to save in the all these things in the database. So they are only gonna be saved in the database when they are actually uploaded, right? And when saving it in the database, we will be saving it in the database when this particular logic runs. So first of all, we have to save it in the database, and we even have to broadcast it. So this is where this logic is gonna be written. And as for the state, so local state will contain the blob URL, and the blob URL is only gonna be used. And if I don't have the blob URL, then I'm gonna be using the public URL. So how about this? Coming back to this one, render URL, and if I don't have the render URL, only then asset.public URL is going to be used. And let's just simply check this thing out now. This looks good. I'd make just small improvements. Prefer local render. If render URL is always set blob initially, public URL after upload, you don't need to fall back. So if you keep the fallback, it's fine, but it's usually indicates render isn't being maintained consistently. When you replace blob with this, get a cached image will create estimate because the cache key is different. That's exactly what you want. After updating the asset, old URL is gonna be render URL, and asset.render URL is gonna be asset.public URL. So it's gonna be old URL, and this cache image delete old URL. This prevents the cache from growing with blob URLs. Final version is gonna be like this, where we are actually asset.render URL, it is just simply dependent on this. I want to use render URL, but I want to set the public URL when broadcasted so that others use public URL. Hence, I prefer render URL. If not, then public URL. I'm gonna integrate backend first of all. Then only things are gonna. That design makes sense and your fallback is appropriate for that model. So render URL, local blob URL, and we have public URL shared. So local before upload, this is gonna be undefined. Only I will have the value of this to local, and then local user after upload. So we are gonna be. Now you can later replace or remove it. Remote users received via WebSockets, public URL, this is gonna be undefined. So this, which means I am uploader, yeah, that is right. So now the code that we have, is this fine? In that case, yes, this is good approach, that is great. Add one more safety check. If that doesn't exist, then just a safety check in here, that is fine, not really a big problem. And one more thing is that when uploaded, we are not really setting the public URL here. So we are gonna be setting the public URL in the database, but that is not being updated here. So even when the upload is done, even at that time, we are just simply sort of logging some of the things, but we are not really setting the public URL. So locally, just a blob URL will be used. So now the good thing is, okay, that's what we actually wanted. So we can just simply change its opacity. Oh, that is good. We can duplicate it. Once duplicated, it's actually, I tried duplicating that. Let's duplicate it. Once duplicated, this is how it looks like. And that is fine, not really big problem. And right now it is at the top, so if I want to bring it below, bring to the back, so this can be used, no, this can be used, and this can be used for front. Yeah, this is sort of working fine as well, so no problem as such. This can be used for deleting it too. Not only that, we can create a frame around this, so we can create a frame, pictures, great. And apart from this particular thing, we can get one more image here, and that image can be part of this. Now if I actually move it, so that image is already part of this. So whatever features that we actually had from the beginning, they are just simply sort of working well, and that's what we wanted. And it's actually time to integrate the database. It's been quite a long time. As for right now, everything's working. We actually have to make many changes, but before even doing anything else, we are gonna have two things now onwards. We'll have our normal state, and we'll have the changes saved in the database as well. That's insane. Let's just simply do that. What time is it? 1:36. 12 to 19. Okay, never mind. Let's just simply I'm just gonna have some water. Anyway, let's get going. Let's get some of the things done as well. So this much is done. That's great. Let's check out the backend section right now. As for right now, we don't really have anything. Just we have one route that's sort of useful here, and that's gonna be the image controller that is mainly used for creating the pre-sign URL, and that is it. And even this can be better, definitely we'll be working on it, but as for right now let's just be okay with this much. And what is the next thing that we actually have to do? That is we can even create more things here, like controller is one of the parts, but okay, that particular thing can be refactored later on as well. So as of right now we can create something called services that will be just simply handling the service related part. That simply means controller is just simply gonna call services, and that services will just simply handle the job. And apart from this particular thing, if we need to call the database, so for that thing we can create something called what something db type something, the directory I'm talking about, so that will handle anything related to the database. But as for right now, let's not focus on that. Rather, time to integrate the backend. For that thing, time to integrate the database. And for the database, I'm actually planning to use PostgreSQL with Prisma, and that should ideally be fine over here. And that will be used locally as well. So coming back to this, rather just this. cd one directory pack. It doesn't really matter where I am. Docker desktop start. Just give me a moment, a minute or so that I can actually just go back and get some water. Thank God there's nobody, so I don't really need to even say that give me a minute. In that case, I can just simply take a break right now, and after that sometime I'll be back and we'll just simply continue from here. I'm just gonna have some water before even that. Yeah, let me get some water and then we'll continue from here on. Alright everybody, let's just simply continue and quickly create at least a database today, and we'll see what can be done then on. Now the question is, when it comes to a database, we'll even have to think of it. It cannot be done directly, right? So when it comes to the DB here, database, so what all we are gonna have there? So first of all, we need to have again, when we are building the database, so let's just simply build it for all, for the authentication and other things and all. So ultimately that's gonna be normal users, so no need to worry about that. And when it comes to normal users, so at least few things it should have. It should have the username, it should have the email, and these are the pretty common things. Even AI can build this. So username, email, password, and many more things. So it can just simply add the things as per its own thinking. It will even have the ID. That's going to be sort of the primary key. And apart from this particular user, the second thing is gonna be the it will have the user. Let's talk about the shapes. So shapes will actually have let me see. When it comes to any shape, so we have to create type for that. So ideally shape will have these things, and then other things are gonna be optional, but each shape should have these options. Any better way to just simply do it? When it comes to shape, so I need to have the ID of the shape, that is right. We need to have the type, x and y, width, height, angle, stroke. So almost a shape will have all these things anyway. Doesn't matter which shape that is. So for each shape we cannot really create different tables, or should we? Should we create different tables for each shape? But in that case we'll have to go through all of them. That simply means we'll just have only one table, and that one table will have all these values, all these fields ultimately. That is right. And the another thing is that once this is done, just a sec. So once this thing is actually done, the next thing is that again it will have shapes, and shapes will have the whatever the AI thinks about that, because shapes can have ID, X, Y, and many more things. Ultimately these many fields are gonna be there. I will give the schema to the AI, and AI is just simply gonna create it. What else do we want to have? We wanna have this, and just after that we wanna have rooms. So when it comes to rooms, so there should be the ID for sure, there should be room name for sure, and room will have the user ID as well, exactly which user, creator ID, and or I can say admin ID, and then member. It will just have the admin ID, that should be enough. And what else? Admin ID, and it can even have many shapes, so it should have just this much. And again if it thinks more things, so then those can actually be added. Then we are gonna have few more things here. That's gonna be rooms and shapes relation. So we are gonna have the room ID here. We are gonna have again it can definitely be better, so we'll get it done. Rooms and shapes relation, or this much is gonna be fine. Room ID is gonna be there, shapes ID is gonna be there, so shape ID is gonna be there. So this is gonna be sort of many to many relation, and again many more things can be there, so not really big problem. So again those many more things are gonna be decided by the AI, so not really big problem. We have to just simply create the overall schema. And similarly we have one more, and that's gonna be which one? Rooms and use rooms and members schema. So ultimately it will the room ID and the member ID if that member is part of that particular room. And what else can we add? Suppose there is a room. As of right now this is enough. Later we'll implement more if needed. Let me just discuss it with the AI. What all can I add to Excalidraw clone project? I want to add every possible feature I can think of, including drawing, then collaboration, then chat, then video calling, like video option during collaboration, and many more. Let's see. I built this much and now I'm just simply thinking what else can be done. Okay, if your goal is to build an Excalidraw clone that stands out as a portfolio project and demonstrates senior level engineering, think beyond drawing features. A production whiteboard is really a combination of graphic engines plus collaboration engine plus document editor, communication platform plus backend infrastructure. Here's roadmap. These are the core canvas features: rectangle, ellipse, diamond, arrow, free dot, text image, then frame, sticky notes, callouts, tables, mini map, AML, flowchart shapes, data base symbols, network diagram symbols, BBMN, wireframes, component icons, editing, resize, rotate, move, multi-select, group, ungroup, lock, unlock, duplicate, delete, copy, paste, cut. Most of the things we implemented this or we are gonna be implementing. Alignment, we haven't really worked on this at all. Distributed horizontal distribution, vertical distribution, ordering, this is already done. Advanced flip, mirror, skew, warp, then text, bold, italic, underline, code, links, lists, tables, style, fill, opacity, roughness, roundness, and all these things. Connectors like micro or Figma allow this. Smart connectors auto route around objects like diagrams and smart gas spring, snapping, grid, objects, frames, centers, all these things. Hide, show, custom spacing, infinite grid. Yeah, these things we can definitely work on. They're not hard. Infinite canvas, zone to fit. We have already worked on most of the things. Layers, panel, hide, lock, rename, nested groups, folders, search layers. Okay, that's fine. History, undo, redo, done already. And then collaboration, real-time collaboration, live cursor, cursor names, cursor color, user avatar selections, editing, multiplayer, multiple users join, conflict resolution, offline sync, follow another user's viewport, presentation mode, permission, owner, editor, viewer, commenter, guest, communication, chat, real-time emoji, GIF, file sharing, code snippets, markdown, threads, replies, mentions, voice or mute, noise suppression, video, screen share, camera, picture in picture, multiple participants recording, raise hand, background blur, reactions, emoji, reactions, ledger, these things, comments, pin comments, resolve, mentions, threads, notifications, user opportunity. AI can be there, so AI draw, AI clean sketch, AI generates, creates AWS architecture diagram and generated AI flowchart, describe processes, flowchart, AI minimap, mind map, AI sticky notes, AI summary board, AI search, where is the payment system, highlights, objects, AI explain diagram, reads architecture, explains. AI refactor diagram, improves layout. Read text from upload image, translate every text object, media, image, videos, PDF for you. All these things can be added. Flowchart, Kanban, Scrum, Sprint, templates, flowchart, Kanban, Scrum, Sprint, journey map, wireframes. Okay, export in these. Well, if I actually could implement this much, then couldn't I just simply start a startup? Draw.io, Excalidraw, Figma, SVG, all these things, plugin, developer SDKs and all, that's fine. A keyboard shortcuts, that is also fine. Search text and all these things, board management, recent favorites, folders, text, archive duplicates, Google, GitHub, email, Teams, fine. Backend autosave versioning is that's insane. Performance, visual rendering, this mobile. And man, it has given me more than it should have given me. Let's do one thing. Image features. You already know what all I worked on. Now you have to create a schema for the DB, and these things we are gonna have here. Add additional things, additional tables as well, and this is the shape that we actually have right here, and let's see what it actually does. So workspace, boards, rooms, pages, optional. Wow, that's insane. We can create different pages there. So a board can itself can have many pages. Not a bad option either. Yeah, why didn't I think about it earlier? We could actually have the pages there. So a board itself can have pages the way Figma has. Now as we are making it different, so let's make it different, right? Again, it's just really gonna take time and loading the stuff and all, but okay, the way Sigma has different pages, the same way we can actually introduce the pages as well. And as for the UI, we'll build that, don't worry. And even we can build the UI part using no, we'll have to build the UI part because that's gonna be custom one anyway. Hopefully this has loaded. It hasn't. Members can be there, chat can be there, calls can be there, permissions can be there. So if we are actually so boards can actually have pages, it can have members, it can have chat, it can have calls, it can have permissions. A shape belongs to one board or page, not multiple boards. So room ID should simply exist inside the shape. A shape belongs to, yeah, that is right, one board, understandable. DB design, before even this I wanna support multiple pages inside the board or trash resources drops, and especially when I click on one and open it here, again it's gonna take time. Such a bad network connectivity I have. For a project of this scale, I'd recommend designing the Prisma schema like a production application, not a tutorial project. There is write some suggestions before the schema. Use UUID or CUID as IDs. Use PostgreSQL. Use JSON for points, crop, font, etc. Use enums for role, statuses, and shape types. Don't create join tables unless relationships are many to many. A shape belongs to exactly one shape, so no room shapes. Enums. So room role can be owner, admin, editor, or the viewer. That is right. Shape can be rectangle, diamond, ellipse, line, arrow, feed, or text, image, frame. As of right now, these are the ones. Image status can be uploading, uploaded, or error. And enum message type is gonna be text, image, file system. User will have ID, username, email, password, hash, avatar, bio, created at last scene. Okay, that's fine. On the rooms, exactly how many rooms it actually has. So this is actually a relationship, if I'm not wrong, that is right. So let's not worry about these ones. All these are actually nothing but the relationships, so let's be okay with this. When it comes to rooms, it has the ID, name, description of the room. Not bad. Thumbnail of the room. Really. Mm, Thumbnail of the room. Mm, that's insane. Is public, whether that room is gonna be public or not. Or owner ID, owner, that is fine. It will have the owner ID. It will have the relationship with that. Then created, updated at members, pages, assets, chats, calls, versions, invites. They are nothing but calls, versions, invite, lock. Mm. As for right now, I'm gonna remove the option of the calling and all. Even the chatting option is not gonna be there. But not gonna be there. We have to have them there. Room member, model, string, room ID, user ID, role, joined. So room member, especially when the room ID, user ID, role, joined, and all these things, that is fine. Page. So page is gonna be there. Shape is gonna be there. Ultimately, bro, we've got a lot to handle now. Get ready. The only thing is that these things are possible because such things we've built earlier. Activity log, mm, room, page, user, action, metadata, board version. So sort of snap JSON will be set. Interesting. Not really a bad option either. Call participant, string call ID, call user ID, joined at, left at, mic enabled, screen sharing. We can enable all these, but it's all about how the UI is gonna look like. Probably we'll have to ask the AI to create just the UI part, so that call room ID started by the end by comment replies and all. That is fine. We have the overall thing. Just gonna give me links of online books to get the idea. Excalidraw, then Tildraw we have, Miro we have, Pixjam we have, Canvas Whiteboard we have, Spark we have. Oh my god, these are the ones. So what do they actually support? The first one is fine. Let's just simply close them. I don't have good network connectivity right now, so I'll be checking them out tomorrow. That would be better thing to do. And as of right now, we have hand-drawn tool, keyboard, image, arrow, frame, collaboration, export, libraries, themes. Draw. This is probably the best reference if you are writing your own rendering engine. Camera movement, shape, resize, snapping, smart zoom, multi-snap performance with 1,000+ shapes, and state management. Miro website, infinite canvas. We have infinite canvas as well. In templates, sticky notes, mind maps, voting, comments, presentation mode, convert, timelines, AI, video meetings, cursor preferences, permissions, Pixjam, widgets, audio chat, reactions, stickers, voting, AI, reactions, connections, blah blah blah. Canva, whiteboard, rich presentation, PDFs, AI, and all these things. Lucid Spark, brainstorming, stickers, this. We have to explore all of them really well. And meanwhile, we have to eraser, gold blocks, architecture merits, collaboration, Figma, layer, auto layer, canvas, multiplayer, version history, comments, dev mode, Microsoft whiteboard, sticky collaboration, Ignite, then we cycle, mind maps, wireframe, plural documentation, obsidian, canvas, cards, notes, links, knowledge photographs, then mode boards, creative images. Well, we actually have quite a lot of them here. Okay, building best open source whiteboard. Okay, so Excalidraw, drawing engine and rough rendering. Drawing engine and rough rendering. Tilra, canvas architecture, multi pages, performance, selection model. Figma, layers, version history, multiplayer architecture. Fixam, widgets, timers, voting, reactions, audio results. Miro, templates, AI, sticky notes, Kanban, presentation mode. Eraser, AI powered diagram generation, mermaid, architecture diagrams. Diagrams.net, UML, AR diagrams. That combination would give you one of the most feature complete collaborative whiteboard projects you can build as a portfolio piece, while exposing you to graphics, programming, real-time collaboration, WebRTC, credit backend architecture, and performance optimization. A challenge that's gonna easily take around 2 months, even when we take the help of AI. First of all, we have to know about the boards well. We don't know that yet really well. And apart from this particular thing, one thing that I missed here, that is shapes. Activity log, message, reply, comment, image, asset, and the shapes. So here we are. So shape has the page ID, page created by type, x, y, width, float, height, angle, z inside group, this, whatnot. There are no rectangles, text, image, columns. Every specific goes inside data. So it has data. Data has what? Data has JSON, so no rectangle, text or image columns. So that becomes part of this. How about just having the type and the data? That would rather be better. Okay, version, parent ID, group, these. Yeah, we have to actually restructure the things better. What should we actually have that? We are gonna be saving the ID, the type of the shape, and the data of the shape. So this is how we are actually gonna be storing the things, and that would that should ideally be better. Okay, and all these things are gonna be done tomorrow. It was quite good. How long has it been? It's been 2 hours around. So at least from tomorrow onwards, we'll make sure that whenever we just simply sit to do something, at least we do it for 2 hours. And as for this project, I think it's easily gonna take 2 months, further coming 2 months. So I'm actually planning to get the basic things done. So we are gonna focus on most basic things. So it's not like we are gonna be focusing on all. So we are gonna focus on the basic board functionalities, collaboration, and chatting if possible. Yeah, definitely we are gonna be using WebSocket. So chatting, we'll not add WebRTC related stuff. Rather, I'm gonna work on that Google Meet project that we created.